For years, that warm bowl of oatmeal has been your trusted friend for heart health. But for men over 50, there's a silent problem. It's doing absolutely nothing for your prostate. While you're eating that plain oatmeal every morning, your prostate is swelling, your bathroom trips are multiplying, and your sleep is being stolen night after night. Today I'm going to show you 5 ingredients, one especially, that can transform that bowl into powerful prostate relief. And number 1 works so fast, some men notice changes within days. Let me give you something you can use immediately. Tomorrow morning, add 1 tablespoon of ground pumpkin seeds to your oatmeal. The zinc alone starts calming prostate inflammation within 48 hours. That's not a theory. That's what I've watched happen with my patients over and over again. I'm Dr. May Anderson. I've spent 25 years specializing in men's health. And I've watched thousands of men ignore simple dietary fixes while chasing expensive supplements that don't work. The men who come to my practice are frustrated, exhausted, and often embarrassed. They tell me things they won't tell their regular doctors because those conversations feel awkward or rushed. They tell me about the weak stream that makes them stand at the toilet for minutes. They tell me about the constant pressure that never quite goes away. They tell me about avoiding road trips and social events because they're always calculating where the nearest bathroom is. Let me tell you about Tom. He was 58 when he walked into my office. He was waking up 5 times a night to urinate. His wife had moved to the guest room because she couldn't handle the constant interruptions. He tried saw palmetto, cranberry supplements, every prostate formula on the shelf. Nothing worked. When he sat down across from me, he looked defeated. The bags under his eyes told the story of months of broken sleep. He said, "Doc, I'm exhausted. My marriage is suffering. I feel like my body has given up on me." I hear that same sentence at least once a week. The feeling that your body has betrayed you, that the strength and reliability you once took for granted has just disappeared. And what makes it worse is that most men suffer in silence because talking about urination and prostate problems feels humiliating. Tom's problem wasn't unique. And neither is the solution. But before I tell you what I gave him, you need to understand what's really happening inside your body. Because when you understand the mechanism, the solution makes perfect sense. Here's the truth. Your prostate sits right under your bladder, wrapped around your urethra like a donut around a straw. As it swells with age, it squeezes your urethra like a kinked garden hose. The water wants to flow, but something's in the way. That's why your stream gets weak. That's why you feel like you never fully empty. That's why you're back in the bathroom 20 minutes later with that same urgent feeling. But it doesn't stop there. The consequences cascade in ways most men don't connect. Weak stream leads to incomplete emptying. Incomplete emptying leads to constant urgency. Constant urgency destroys your sleep. Poor sleep makes you irritable, foggy, and low energy. And when you're exhausted and frustrated, intimacy becomes something you avoid instead of something you desire. Your confidence drops. Your mood suffers. Even your relationships start to feel the strain. Tom told me something that broke my heart. He said, "I avoid dinners with friends because I'm always looking for the bathroom. I can't sit through a movie. My grandkids wanted to take a day trip to the lake, and I made excuses because I didn't want them to see me running to rest stops every 30 minutes. I feel like my body betrayed me." His voice cracked when he said that last part. I see this pattern constantly. Men withdrawing from life not because they want to, but because their prostate has taken control. They stop traveling. They stop going out. They organize their entire day around bathroom access. That's no way to live. But here's what makes me angry. The breakfast doctors recommend, that plain bowl of oatmeal, has 0 of the nutrients your prostate needs to calm down. It's good for your heart, yes. It provides fiber and helps with cholesterol. But for a man dealing with prostate swelling, it's a missed opportunity every single morning. You're already sitting there with a bowl and a spoon. Why not make that meal work for your prostate instead of just your cardiovascular system? So what's missing? Let me show you the science, and I promise I'll keep this simple. I'm not going to drown you in medical terminology. I'm going to explain this the way I explain it to my patients, in plain language that actually makes sense. Your prostate depends on 3 things to stay healthy and calm. First, zinc for cellular structure and hormone regulation. Zinc is what keeps prostate cells behaving normally instead of multiplying out of control. Second, antioxidants to fight the inflammation that makes tissue swell and stiffen. Think of inflammation as a slow fire burning inside the gland, making everything irritated and swollen. Third, phytosterols to block DHT, the hormone that signals your prostate to keep growing. DHT is like fertilizer for prostate tissue. Too much of it, and your prostate grows whether you want it to or not. Plain oatmeal has almost none of these. Research shows that men with higher zinc intake have 40% less prostate enlargement over time. That's a massive difference. But your standard bowl of oats? Almost zero zinc. No meaningful antioxidants. No phytosterols. It fills your stomach, but it doesn't support your prostate. That's why adding targeted ingredients turns your breakfast from simple filler into actual medicine for your prostate. You're not just eating. You're treating the root causes of swelling and inflammation with every spoonful. When I tested this approach with Tom, I gave him a simple protocol. 5 ingredients. 1 bowl. Every morning. I told him to be consistent for 3 weeks, and then come back to see me. He was skeptical, but he was also desperate. And desperation sometimes opens the door to hope. He said, "Doc, if this doesn't work, I'm scheduling surgery. I can't keep living like this." I understood his frustration. Surgery is invasive, expensive, and comes with risks that most men don't fully understand until they're dealing with the side effects. But I also knew that if he gave his body the right support, there was a good chance he could avoid that operating table entirely. Here's exactly what I told him to add. And I'm going to work backwards, from number 5 to number 1, because the most powerful ingredient is the one that surprised even me when I first started researching prostate nutrition. Number 5 is ground flaxseed. This one tackles a problem most men don't even know they have. Hormonal chaos. As you age, your body starts producing more estrogen relative to testosterone. That's right, estrogen. Most men think of estrogen as a female hormone, but men produce it too, and the balance matters enormously. When estrogen climbs too high compared to testosterone, it contributes directly to prostate swelling. Flaxseed contains compounds called lignans that help block excess estrogen and reduce DHT at the same time. It's a double defense against the 2 hormonal drivers of prostate enlargement. Think of it as recalibrating your hormone balance back toward what it was when you were younger, and your prostate was smaller. You need 1 tablespoon, and it must be ground fresh. Whole flax seeds pass right through your digestive system without releasing their benefits. The outer shell is too tough for your stomach acid to break down. Grind them in a coffee grinder or buy them pre-ground and store them in the refrigerator. The oils in flaxseed go rancid quickly at room temperature, and rancid oils create inflammation, which is exactly what you're trying to avoid. Stir them into your cooked oatmeal right before you eat. I had a patient named Thomas, 71 years old, who added just this one ingredient. He didn't change anything else about his diet. Within 2 weeks, his urgency dropped by about 30%. He wasn't cured, but he noticed the difference. He told me, "I'm not running to the bathroom every hour anymore. I can actually finish a cup of coffee without interruption." That's the power of addressing hormone imbalance at the root. Number 4 is cinnamon. You probably think of this as a flavor enhancer, something you sprinkle on toast or add to coffee. But for your prostate, it's an inflammation regulator that works through a mechanism most men never consider. Blood sugar. Every time you eat, especially breakfast, your blood sugar spikes. When you were younger, your body handled those spikes easily. Your insulin responded quickly, shuttled the sugar into your cells, and everything balanced out. But after decades of processed foods, white bread and sugar, those spikes start leaving damage behind. High blood sugar creates something called glycation, where sugar molecules stick to proteins in your tissues and make them stiff and irritated. Your prostate is particularly vulnerable to this process. When your prostate tissue becomes glycated and inflamed, it swells. It presses harder on your urethra. Your symptoms get worse. Cinnamon helps regulate your insulin response so your blood sugar rises more gently after meals. When your blood sugar stays steadier throughout the day, inflammation stays lower. And when inflammation is lower, your prostate tissue stays softer and more flexible instead of swollen and rigid. Add half a teaspoon of cinnamon to your oatmeal after cooking. Heat can damage some of its beneficial compounds, so stir it in at the end. The taste is familiar and comforting. It makes your oatmeal feel like a treat, not a medical intervention. But make no mistake, cinnamon doesn't just taste good. It keeps your prostate from living in a constant sugar storm that drives inflammation higher day after day. Number 3 is pomegranate powder. This is where things get really interesting. This one shocked me when I first saw the research, and it continues to impress me every time I recommend it to a patient. Pomegranate is packed with polyphenol, plant compounds that do 2 critical things for your prostate. First, they reduce oxidative stress, which is the slow cellular damage that accumulates over years and makes tissue stiff and inflamed. Think of oxidative stress as rust forming on metal. It weakens the structure and makes everything brittle. Second, pomegranate polyphenol relax the smooth muscle around your bladder, neck, and prostate, which directly improves urinary flow. When those muscles are tense, even a normal-sized prostate can cause symptoms. When they relax, flow improves immediately. There was a study that followed men who had been treated for prostate cancer. These were men with serious prostate issues, not just mild enlargement. The men taking pomegranate extract saw their PSA doubling time extend from 15 months to 54 months. PSA is a marker doctors use to track prostate cell activity. When that number slows down dramatically, it means the tissue is behaving more calmly and not proliferating aggressively. That kind of result tells us pomegranate is doing something real at the cellular level, not just masking symptoms. For you, that means better control over urgency, fewer trips to the bathroom at night, and a noticeable reduction in that heavy, inflamed feeling in your pelvis that so many men describe but don't know how to fix. Use 1 teaspoon of pure pomegranate powder, not pomegranate juice, which is loaded with sugar and loses most of its beneficial compounds during processing. You want freeze-dried powder or a standardized extract. Add it after cooking because heat weakens the polyphenol you need. Stir it into your oatmeal, or into the liquid before it heats up. The taste is slightly tart, but it pairs beautifully with the sweetness of oats and honey. Some men tell me it gives their breakfast a subtle berry flavor that makes the whole bowl more enjoyable. Number 2 is raw honey. And I need to be very specific here. Not the processed stuff in a plastic bear bottle that's been heated, filtered, and stripped of everything beneficial. I'm talking about raw, local honey that still has all its natural enzymes and beneficial compounds intact. You can tell the difference by looking at it. Raw honey is cloudy, sometimes crystallized and thick. Processed honey is perfectly clear and pours like syrup. Honey does something most men don't expect. It fights bacterial inflammation in the urinary tract and prostate. Low-grade infections and bacterial overgrowth contribute to chronic prostate irritation that conventional tests often miss. These aren't full-blown infections that would show up on a urine culture. They're subtle, persistent colonies of bacteria that keep your immune system activated and your prostate inflamed. Honey has powerful antimicrobial properties that help clear out these troublemakers. But here's the secret benefit that makes honey even more valuable. Honey acts as a prebiotic, feeding the beneficial bacteria in your gut. A healthy gut improves nutrient absorption across the board, which means the zinc from your pumpkin seeds, the polyphenol from your pomegranate, and the curcumin from your turmeric all get used more effectively by your body. Everything works better when your digestion is strong, and your gut microbiome is balanced. Drizzle 1 tablespoon of raw honey on top of your finished oatmeal. Do not cook it. Heat above 110 degrees destroys the enzymes that make it medicinal. Look for honey that's sourced locally if possible. Local honey also helps with seasonal allergies, which is a nice bonus for men dealing with multiple age-related issues. Now we come to number 1. The king. The one ingredient that pulls everything else together and delivers results faster than anything else I recommend. Turmeric combined with black pepper. Let me explain why this combination is so powerful, because understanding the science makes you more likely to stick with it. Turmeric contains curcumin, one of the most potent anti-inflammatory compounds found in nature. Curcumin blocks the inflammatory pathways that keep your prostate swollen and irritated. It works at the cellular level to calm overactive signals telling your prostate to enlarge. Scientists call these signals cytokines, and when they're running wild, your prostate has no choice but to swell. Curcumin shuts down that signaling. At the same time, curcumin improves circulation to the pelvic region. Better blood flow means more oxygen and nutrients reaching the tissue. It means waste products and inflammatory compounds getting cleared out more efficiently. Your prostate literally functions better when circulation improves. But here's the problem most men run into when they try turmeric on their own. Your body struggles to absorb curcumin. Most of it passes right through your digestive system without doing anything. Studies show that only about 1% of the curcumin you consume actually makes it into your bloodstream. That's a massive waste. That's where black pepper comes in. Black pepper contains piperine, a compound that increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Not 20%. 2,000%. It does this by slowing down the enzymes in your liver that break down curcumin before your body can use it. This isn't a minor enhancement. This is the difference between curcumin working or being completely useless. Add half a teaspoon of turmeric powder and a pinch of black pepper to your oatmeal after cooking. The turmeric will give your oatmeal a golden color and a mild, earthy flavor that some men love and others need to get used to. Some men mix it with cinnamon to balance the taste. The important thing is consistency. Your body needs this every day to build up anti-inflammatory protection that lasts. Tom added all 5 ingredients to his oatmeal starting the day after our appointment. He sent me a text after the first week saying he wasn't sure if it was working yet, but he was staying consistent. By week 3, he was down to 2 bathroom trips at night instead of 5. That alone was life-changing for him. His sleep quality improved dramatically. By week 6, he slept through the night completely. When he came back to see me for his follow-up, he looked like a different man. His eyes were brighter. His energy was back. He'd lost the gray, exhausted look that chronic sleep deprivation creates. He sat down and said, "Doc, my wife moved back into our bedroom. That's all I needed to know it worked." Then he paused and added, "Actually, that's not all. I'm golfing again without planning my route around bathrooms. I took my grandkids to the zoo last weekend and didn't worry once. I feel like I got my life back." That's not just about urination. That's about dignity. That's about feeling like yourself again. That's about intimacy and connection, and not being controlled by your body's failures. That's about being present with the people you love without constant distraction and discomfort. Now, Tom isn't unique. I've seen this work for dozens of men who were willing to be consistent. Let me tell you about Marcus. He was 74 when he came to me. He'd been battling prostate issues for 8 years. He'd spent thousands on supplements. He'd tried acupuncture, pelvic floor therapy, every natural remedy his friends recommended. Nothing moved the needle. He was skeptical when I told him about the oatmeal protocol. He said, "Doc, I've tried everything. Why would this be different?" I told him the same thing I told Tom. Give me 4 weeks. Be consistent. Don't skip days. The ingredients I'm recommending aren't random. They're targeted at the specific mechanisms driving your symptoms. For weeks later, Marcus came back. His stream was stronger. His urgency had dropped significantly. He stopped needing afternoon naps because his sleep quality had improved so much. His wife noticed the change before he even said anything. She asked him, "What's gotten into you? You're smiling again." He told her, "Just oatmeal." That's the beauty of this approach. It's not exotic. It's not expensive. It's not complicated. It's just targeted nutrition delivered consistently through a meal most men are already eating. Here's what I need you to understand. Every morning you eat plain oatmeal, you're missing an opportunity. Your prostate needs specific support, and these 5 ingredients provide exactly that. Zinc from pumpkin seeds to regulate hormones and cellular structure. Lignans from flaxseed to balance estrogen and block DHT. Cinnamon to calm blood sugar spikes and reduce glycation. Polyphenol from pomegranate to protect cells and relax smooth muscle. and turmeric with black pepper to shut down chronic inflammation at its source and improve circulation. When you combine all five, something called nutrient synergy happens. The healthy fats from the pumpkin seeds help your body absorb the curcumin from the turmeric. The honey improves your gut's ability to pull in the zinc. The black pepper enhances absorption across the board. Each ingredient makes the others work better. That's why the whole bowl becomes more powerful than any single ingredient on its own. If this feels overwhelming, start with just 1 or 2 additions for the first week. Once that feels easy, add the next one. I've seen men try to overhaul their entire diet overnight, and then give up after 3 days because it felt too complicated. The goal is consistency, not perfection from day one. Even a few times a week makes a meaningful difference. Your body responds to small steps in the right direction. Some men tell me they forget during busy weeks, so here's a simple trick. Prepare small jars with your dry ingredients ahead of time. Mix your oats with the cinnamon and pomegranate powder in individual portions. Then in the morning, you just add hot water or milk, toss in your seeds, stir in your turmeric and black pepper, and drizzle your honey on top. Your supportive breakfast is ready in minutes. No complicated meal prep. No thinking required. Let me give you one more piece of advice that makes a real difference. Keep your pumpkin seeds and flaxseed in the refrigerator. Their oils are fragile and go rancid quickly at room temperature. Rancid oils create inflammation, which is the opposite of what you're trying to achieve. Fresh ingredients matter. I've had men tell me they weren't seeing results, and when I asked more questions, I found out they were using 6-month-old flaxseed sitting in their pantry. That's not going to work. Buy small amounts, store them properly, and use them fresh. Now, if you want to avoid the slow, frustrating decline that Tom and Marcus were facing, if you want to protect your sleep, your dignity, and your relationships, subscribe to Vital Health Seniors right now. Because in my next video, I'm exposing the #1 so-called heart-healthy food that's secretly enlarging your prostate. It's in 90% of senior kitchens. Doctors keep recommending it for cardiovascular health. And if you keep eating it, nothing else you do will work. Your prostate will keep swelling no matter how much turmeric you add to your oatmeal. You need to see that video. Hit that like button and share this video with someone who needs it. There's a man in your life, a friend, a brother, someone at church who's suffering in silence. Men don't talk about this stuff. They live with the embarrassment and the exhaustion alone. They think it's just part of getting old, and there's nothing they can do. You might be the reason he gets his confidence back. You might be the reason his marriage improves. You might be the reason he starts living again instead of just surviving. That's worth 5 seconds of your time. I've dedicated 25 years of my career to helping men reclaim their vitality. This isn't about vanity. It's about quality of life. It's about waking up feeling rested. It's about not planning your day around bathroom locations. It's about intimacy and connection and feeling like the man you still are inside, even if your body has been sending different messages. Start tomorrow. 1 bowl. 5 ingredients. Be consistent for 3 weeks and watch what changes. Your prostate will feel the difference. Your sleep will improve. Your energy will come back. And you'll realize you've been one simple habit away from relief this entire time. I'm Dr. May Anderson, and I'll see you in the next video.